as I mentioned on the show, over the weekend there was an attack on an ICE facility in Tacoma, Washington. This attack on an ICE facility was carried out by an Antifa terrorist. It is a 69-year-old guy who walked up with a rifle, and he had a propane tank, and he tried to blow up a wall of the ICE facility. And well, Ilhan Omar was asked by a reporter from the Rebel Media whether she would condemn this attempted terror attack on an ICE facility, and here's how it went.
Will you condemn the Antifa attack in Washington over the weekend? It's easy to condemn terrorism. Will you condemn it?
Is it here?
Antifa firebombed a facility in Tacoma over the weekend. It's an ICE facility. Will you condemn them for that? I mean, firebombing a concentration camp is kind of a laudable thing if it actually is a concentration camp. You must be happy that they did it, no? Are you pleased? Should more people do it? It's easy to say no.
Here, I think this is it.
It's very easy for her to say that she condemns all violence. How do I know that it's very easy? Because AOC did it this morning. So she was asked by the Daily Caller. So AOC's first answer was the same as Ilhan Omar's. She ran away. And so yesterday, AOC was asked over and over whether she condemned the Antifa attack on an ICE facility. And here's what that sounded like. Again, the reporter from the Rebel Media.
Will you condemn Antifa for the attack in Washington?
We'll be making statements.
It's easy to condemn a terrorist attack.
She's asking.
Will you be condemning Antifa?
We'll be making statements.
They firebombed an American facility. Will you condemn them?
Okay, and total silence from AOC, right? It took her a full 24 hours to come up with, yes, it turns out a terrorist attack is bad. And then the same question was asked to Ayanna Pressley, and the exact same result. So here is Ayanna Pressley asked to condemn the Antifa terrorist, again by the Rebel Media, no answer.
Really simple question. Will you condemn Antifa for attacking an ICE facility? It's very simple. Will you tell Americans not to attack violently ICE facilities?
He's standing right next to her. I mean, it's not like she can't hear the question.
It would be a very simple thing to say, and
She just keeps walking.
It would go a long way to tell Americans that you're not sympathetic to Antifa.
Okay, and nothing. No answer. None. And then Trump says these people don't like America? Okay, so what do you expect the American people to take away from that? These are very easy answers. If the squad wants to take the lead in this fight, this is an easy fight to make if you are willing to say easy things. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take away from the squad when you've got Ayanna Pressley over the weekend suggesting that black people are not truly black unless they agree with her, when you've got Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, blatant anti-Semites, when you've got AOC, who has suggested that we have concentration camps on our border, and when every member of the squad who was asked by a reporter yesterday whether they would condemn an Antifa terror attack on American soil went totally silent. It's very easy. It truly is. If you ask me if I condemn a terror attack, you know how long it takes me to answer? Half a second, because it's very easy. It's supremely simple. This is what Trump wants out of this, and they are giving it directly to him. It's unbelievable. If 2020 turns into a fight between Trump and the squad, if it's just Trump versus the squad, that is the fight that Trump wants, and that's the
All right. That was a video from my third father, known as Ben Shapiro. I have three fathers, in case you didn't know. My real father, my biological father, Tom Cruise, and Ben Shapiro. But hi, everybody. I was just setting some things up in the stream here. Just trying to make things look more professional. So, my apologies if, okay, yeah, that's still, okay, I don't know what this lock does then. Okay, so my apologies if it was a little weird, you coming in here and you're like, whoa, what's this video thing that's playing? What's going on here? So, yeah, hi. I'm, of course, your host, Lego Lover 117, or Garrett, whatever you prefer to call me. Those are my two names. So, yeah. How is everyone? I think I forgot how to live stream. I'm just okay. This is a stupid decision. I'm just gonna tell you guys this right now. I shouldn't have scheduled a live stream for a Tuesday because it's Amazon Prime Day. Amazon Prime Day was yesterday, and it's today. And I work for UPS, package handler over there. That was not a good combination because today was awful. Just all kinds of just package after package after package after package. It was insane. Ugh. But I survived. I lived. I'm just gonna angle this down a little bit there. That's better. So, just gonna look in the chat here. Pretty much all the mainstays we got: Wind Railway Mania, Narrowgate Studios, Soda Midland Fan, 1990, just 95. King Henry. Henry's here. Both Henrys are here. Dude, Henry, we did meet up. We did. Yo, Lego Lover, you met up with Crimson 2091. Does he actually have a small dick? I can confirm this, Henry. He does have a small dick. Or King Henry, I guess I should say. He does have a small dick. He told me himself, straight up. What, did you think I looked at it? No, I'm not gay. Fun fact, at the Missouri Museum of Transportation, they have the very first diesel in America. That is a fun fact, Narrowgate Studios. I did not know that. That would have been nice while I was there if I would have known that. But that's cool. So I saw the first diesel that was ever in America. Cool. So, I don't really have a plan for this live stream. I never have plans for these live streams, in case you hadn't noticed that. I really just kind of do these off the fly. The mainstays, of course, are the ever so famous segment, things that I have that you don't. Of course, we're going to do that at some point in this stream. I've got my staff over here to the side. That's actually what I was trying to set up before the stream happened. So there's that over there. We're going to talk about the my trip to St. Louis, obviously. It's the title of this video, the thumbnail, all that stuff. I've got a little slideshow prepared here of some images that you're going to see whenever we get to that. We're going to talk about the new DVD release that was just announced for the Thomas and Friends home media range. That was announced yesterday. Something new is coming, and I'm not excited. And then we'll probably have some, some politics thrown in there, some random collectible stuff thrown in there. You know how these live streams usually come together. And of course, we'll be taking chat questions as per usual. So, that is really what's going to be happening. You guys like my shirt? Stark Industries, baby. The company I was fired from after they found my racist and homophobic tweets from 5 years ago. I love saying that to people. Because it's not a real company. Stark, I wish it was. But it's not. Stark Industries is fake. Hello, Spencer. I just watched episode 1 of season 3 of Stranger Things. I don't watch Stranger Things, and I don't care to. Personally, I think it's overhyped. And again, I can't really say it's overhyped because I've never watched it, so. I just feel like if I watch it now that seasons 1 and 2 and now 3 are out, 3 came out when I was in St. Louis, I believe, maybe the week before that. I just feel like I'm not gonna like it because everybody loves Stranger Things. Like, even people who I don't expect to like stuff like that like Stranger Things, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe one day when the hype just goes away. Like, maybe one day I'll get around to it, but right now I have no interest in it because I know myself and I know I'm just going to end up hating it. I'm going to end up not liking it. I'm going to find little problems here and there that would not bug the average viewer, but it would bug me. And I would do it just to complain because I know how I am. So that's why I won't watch Stranger Things. Not right now, at least. Breaking Bad's been over for a while, so at some point, because my parents have seen it and they really like it. So, oh. And I've also, when I was in St. Louis, I got, well, not when I was in St. Louis, I got this before I went to St. Louis. I bought a Spider-Man, hang on a minute, I'll show it to you. Oh, that's another thing we're going to be doing in this stream. We're going to be talking Spider-Man Far From Home, but that's going to be later. I bought this Spider-Man in his upgraded suit from Spider-Man Far From Home Pop, and it was in a plastic encasing around the box. And it had this little thing on the outside of it. Includes 2 digital downloads plus $8 off a ticket to see Spider-Man. I haven't used this code. I've probably give it away to one of my friends because I don't plan on seeing it a second time. But those 2 free, you're paying a couple extra bucks for the free digital downloads. Those you could redeem for virtually almost any Spider-Man film. You could go onto what's it called, Vudu, is the digital streaming services. You can go onto Vudu and you could redeem your code that was on your receipt. Funny enough, I still have the receipt here, surprisingly. That's what your code would have looked like. I've already used it, so don't try and steal it or pause the video and try to take it from me. That's what your code would have looked like. It was on your receipt. And if you went on a Vudu and entered that code, you could have got 2 free Spider-Man related titles on that service. All the Spider-Man films I already own on Vudu, most of them at least. I don't own Spider-Man 3 on Vudu because I hate it. But there were 2, just show you, there were 2 titles that I were interested in when I saw this on the Vudu. This app is glitchy. And it's this right here. It's the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. It's got 2 seasons to it, and both of the seasons I got for free with that code. So standard pop price at Walmart's about $9. I paid about $13 for this. So for $2 each for each season of that show, not a bad deal. 26 episodes, not a bad deal. I'm up to episode 8 of season 1, and I'm really liking it so far. It's a pretty good series. A friend of mine recommended I should watch it, and he bought the entire series on DVD. So I was watching that in St. Louis because every TV in that house that we stayed in was a Roku TV, so I was able to access Vudu from that. Because for some reason, Vudu is not available on the Amazon Prime store. I think it was at one point, but they took it off. I don't know. It's not available on Prime TV, so I have to use Chromecast to watch Vudu things or my Xbox. Hashtag first world problems. But it's a good series. I recommend it. Spectacular Spider-Man. Check it out if you can. Okay, let's go back to the chat questions, yeah? How would you rank the 3 phases of the MCU? I assume you mean each phase just by itself, not each film in each phase, because we'd be here all day if we did that. So let's just rank each phase. I would say Phase 3 definitely has some of the strongest in the entire MCU, with hits like Captain America Civil War Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, and Avengers 3 and 4. Those are probably the biggest heavy hitters, in my opinion, for Phase 3 to bump it over the top of Phase 1. I think I would go 3, 1, and 2 for phases. Do you know about Baldus Basics? I don't know what that is. How does it feel to show your face? Everyone keeps asking me this question. I think I've been asked this question in every live stream since I did this reveal. It feels better than having to, do this and hand motions. Yeah, I like it better. I should have done this a long time ago, honestly. I feel more free to do what I want now. Have you seen Tatmer Parody 2019? I assume you mean the first part of the uh, Magic Railroad parody that's directed by our very own Vinny Smith. And yeah, I did watch it. I watched it when it premiered and pretty impressed, honestly. I was really impressed. I'm very skeptical about whenever Thomas YouTubers try to do movies, per se, just because I watch a lot of films and I know how a cinematic film is supposed to look. And he damn near almost nailed it. I mean, it's it's a really good first part. It's a really good opening hook for his film. I am excited to watch the thing in its entirety. I I wish he would have waited, honestly, uh, than just um, than uploading parts to it. I'm not sure how he's releasing it. I think he said there is a part two coming, so I just wish he would have released it all as one, like all as one film. It's like no parts, nothing, just trailers and such. So have you bought a new Thomas DVD? No, not in a while. Can you do a home media review on Age of Ultron? I don't take requests for home media reviews. I think I've made that very clear. I haven't even been greenlit for a season 2 yet, but me and my fake producer Dave have been talking, and a season 2 is very likely. We have a document on my phone that me and him have been looking at just to brainstorm about what titles should be included. Remember when we were dropping down into the cave and someone said a bad word? Nah, Henry, but do you remember when you went down the slide and you said, "Come on, Garrett, someone will never find us down here." Because if I say his name, he'll get mad. I wonder how many parts there are going to be. Yeah, me too. Wooden Railway Mania. Like I said, I wish he would have just released it all as one film. I wish he would have waited. I know it's to drum up hype for it and just to see the response to it. But I don't know. I don't have any issue with the first part itself. I really liked it. Really was impressed by it. And of course, my opinion means nothing to our dear friend Vinny Smith because the man doesn't take criticism from what I've heard. He probably doesn't care about little old me's opinion, but I really liked it. Really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be better than my parody. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be better than Tragic Pharaoh. Tragic Pharaoh's a mess. But I was 15 when I made it. I don't have the I didn't have the knowledge that I do now. I do remember. That was funny. If you're gonna do a season 2, it better be all your least favorite films. That would be awesome. I hadn't thought about that, Gum Robber. The picks I have for season 2 are not least favorite because I actually want to have fun when I make this show. Uh, but with the whole tradition of the last episode of every single season being a film I've never seen prior to that, there's always the um the possibility of there being a not recommend. course, up until now, all of the season or all the episodes in season 1 of HMR have been recommends because they've all been my favorites. So obviously they'll be recommends. But I could flip flop on a film. I could have, watched Jaws and realized it was terrible or something. It's not, but that could have happened. Luckily it didn't, but you know what? This is just a brainstorming document on my phone, so I'll just read off a couple of these these titles I have chosen. Um Kingsman: The Secret Service is definitely one I want to cover on the show at some point. Uh Star Trek 2009, that's a possible contender. I want to do like one collection each season, like make it like I did with Star Wars with this season, like a collection of films. So I've got the Indiana Jones collection or the Back to the Future trilogy collection. I've also got the Batman anthology, Toy Story. I've got a lot of collections that I could do, but all those are contenders. Pulp Fiction, uh, all of Tarantino's library is pretty much a contender, except for Jackie Brown and not what's the one with Kurt Russell? Death Proof. I haven't even seen that. But Jackie Brown's not very good. Ocean's 11. Um, and perhaps completing the Avengers trilogy. That might be or the Avengers quadrilogy, I guess you could say, because I did the first Avengers in season 1, so in season 2 I might finish that out if I don't have enough ideas. But all of those are contenders, not saying any of those are confirmed or not. But all of those are contenders. Basically, the only one that you can expect to see in season 2 is Kingsman, because I really want to cover Kingsman. Because Kingsman: The Secret Service is fantastic. Oh, and Star Trek 2009. That's probably, definitely, almost a positive confirmed. But again, that's if fake producer Dave actually wants to greenlight us. He's not even here in the office right now. He went home for the night. So we got 10 people watching right now. Stream health's doing good. Chat questions have kind of stopped. What do you guys say to, do you want to see the slideshow first, or do you want to do things that I have that you don't first? I'll let you guys decide. And if you take too long, then I'll decide. I got 3 votes for things that I have that you don't, and 1 vote for the slideshow. Sorry, Winroy Mania, but we're doing things that I have that you don't. So maybe next time, pal. So let's move to this screen. This beautiful. It's on this side, not this side. This side, this kind of lazy graphic that I threw up in Pixlr one late night. Okay. People always like it when I gloat about this stuff. So let's see. You've already seen the Spider-Man pop here. Put that over there. Space is huge. So let's start with these 2 guys right here. These are Disney Infinity figures of Yondu, the blue guy, and Falcon, the black guy. It's funny because it's racially insensitive. And I picked these up because I have been wanting to complete the Marvel lineup of Disney Infinity figures for years now. and I've never been able to find these in stores because Disney Infinity was canceled years ago. And the more that these things are off the market, the more valuable they're going to become in the future, at least what I think. And I always wanted a complete collection of them, so I just went ahead and got Falcon and Yondu. I think these are the only two I need to complete the collection. I can't. No, Nick Fury and Iron Fist. I need those two. I don't have either of them, so two more. I thought I was done, but I'm not. But I'm two closer to completion now. Then I can finally play as all the characters in Marvel Battlegrounds. Yippee! Okay, so now we move on to the Blu-rays. These are in a rough chronological order, very rough. First one I got is Batman Under the Red Hood. I was watching The Dark Knight Returns before I left for St. Louis, and Under the Red Hood was referenced in it, and I realized I'd never seen Under the Red Hood. Well, the events that take place before this are referenced in Dark Knight Returns because of the death of Robin, Joker beating him with the crowbar. Everyone knows that. It's pretty much one of the most famous comic book deaths ever. But Under the Red Hood takes place after that. And I watched this on the way back from St. Louis, and it's pretty okay. I have never really been a fan of the DC Universe animated stuff. It's all consistently fine. I didn't really care that much about this. Bruce Greenwood is not my favorite Batman. I much prefer Kevin Conroy. But I mean, for what I paid like $8 for this on Blu-ray, so it's okay. Maybe one of my friends will want to borrow that. Next up, if you saw last month's stream, I think I talked about my Finding Nemo and Finding Dory 3D collectors versions of those Pixar films, and I realized I didn't have either of the Monsters Universe films. I can't say Monsters Inc. because one of them is called Monsters University. I didn't have either of the Monsters Universe films on Blu-ray. I own Monsters Inc. on DVD, but DVD is not sufficient. So the first one I picked up was Monsters University, and the reason I got this so quickly was because this is the Target exclusive version that has a bonus disc, which is over here. Here's what that looks like. It comes in its own little cardboard case here. It's just a DVD with a gray color scheme. Nothing really all that special to it. But Target exclusives are notoriously rare of pretty much anything. So, Monsters University. I hadn't seen it since theaters. That's also one of the reasons why I got it before Monsters Inc. Because I'd seen Monsters Inc. multiple times when I was a kid, but I saw this in theaters once, and I hadn't seen it since, and I rewatched it, and it's pretty daggone good. Don't know why people didn't like this one as much. It's clearly not as good as Monsters Inc., but it's sufficient. It holds up. And then instead of going to eBay and trying to find a Monsters Inc. Blu-ray copy, I went to my Disney movie rewards because I use those. And I had like 5,000 points saved up, and I got Monsters Inc. on Blu-ray, 3D collector's edition version, digital copy, all that good stuff, for 2,000 movie reward points. So now I've got about 3,600 something saved up there. So that's still a lot of points. And I got to use the points that came in this. So yeah, Monsters Inc. Hilarious. I mean, what else can you say? Mike Wazowski, funniest character in this. What happens when the whistle blows in 5 minutes? I get a timeout. Everyone goes to lunch. Which means the scare floor will be painted? Empty! It'll be empty, you idiot! Just really, really good dialogue like that, man. Well, why don't you find somewhere for it to sleep? Why? Think of a plan! Thinking about it now makes me want to go rewatch it again. So this next one was kind of an impulse buy. I went to Best Buy one day before leaving for St. Louis, and I found a steelbook, which was on sale. And if you know me, I love steelbooks. But this is for two films I have never seen before. I had eyed this for a while. For $15, I finally bit the bullet on Bad Boys 1 and 2. Hear me out on this, okay? I'd never seen this before, never seen either of them before owning the steelbook, and it had been $20 for the longest time. I'd considered it, but when they dropped it down to 15 because they had way too many of these sitting around in their stores, so they said, "All right, we'll knock it down to 15, see if it sells." I bit the bullet. They're on 4K and Blu-ray. Got the whole pack and all that. I'd heard Bad Boys 1 was one of Michael Bay's best films, and honestly, kind of is. It's not good. Like, I didn't really like it that much, but it's a good, solid Michael Bay film. I mean, it's better than 13 Hours. 13 Hours was even though my dad is like, "No, 13 Hours was really good." I'm like, dude, you didn't even like Dunkirk. I don't want to hear that from you. But Bad Boys 2 is legit one of the worst films I've seen in my life. I mean, I didn't even finish it. The Bad Boys 2 was 2 hours, 26 minutes. I turned it off at the 2-hour mark. Didn't even finish it. I just looked up what the ending was because it was abysmal. But Bad Boys 1 wasn't too bad. These next few titles come to you courtesy from the Walmart $5 Blu-ray bin. First up is Blade, a good, solid action comic book rated R film from 1998, which a lot of people don't give Blade the credit that it deserves. Kind of. I mean, it's very 90s. It's very cheesy, but it's a solid movie, man. It's good. I really enjoy it, and I didn't own it on Blu-ray, so for $5, that was worth the upgrade. These I bought the weekend before I left for St. Louis. This is Now You See Me 2. They were trying to sell this at Black Friday. I passed up on it. I bought the first Now You See Me. I haven't watched it yet on Black Friday. But I thought, hey, why not get two? For $5, why not get two? So if I hate the first one, I will suffer through the second one because I paid $5 for it. And then this other one is honestly a really cool version of this. It's Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. I saw the first Jack Reacher. I think I own it on DVD, and I didn't like it at all. Thought it was boring. But I might have heard that 2 was better. I don't know. But this version, I say it's cool because it comes with a... If it would come out here. It comes with like a comic book thing. It's got like a fat, extra fat slipcover here. So you can kind of tell it's a little fatter than a normal slipcover. But it's also, said it on the slipcover there. Includes Jack Reacher exclusive illustrated short story. So that was cool to find in the $5 bin. You don't find stuff with slipcovers in the $5 bins most often. Here are 2 things I picked up when I was in St. Louis. It's 2 video games. It's the Lego Harry Potter collection and Injustice 2. My brother convinced me to get... Wow, big hiccup there. My brother convinced me to get the Lego Harry Potter collection because I am his supply of games. He doesn't buy games because he's broke. He doesn't have a job. He's 15, so don't judge him. So he convinced me to get the Lego Harry Potter collection, even though I have never seen a speck of Harry Potter in my life. And I really don't care to all that much. I have the DVD collection, but I don't want to watch those on DVD, so I might upgrade those before I actually watch this franchise. But this was really cool, though, that they went back and remastered both the old Lego Harry Potter games for Xbox One. And then Injustice 2, got this at a Best Buy in St. Louis, another recommendation from my brother. They were both $20, so I thought, why not? I haven't played either one of them yet, but I want to play Injustice 2 at some point because I played this over at my buddy's house on his PS4, and we all had a good time with it. I've already bought Hellboy as a DLC character for this game because I love Hellboy. So yeah, those are the two games. These I got a few days ago. I went to Walmart after a work shift and I found Noah on Blu-ray in the $5 bin. This is how I have such an extensive collection of Blu-rays. I just look for stuff at like okay to really good deals, like $5 on Blu-ray for Noah, and I just buy it. Haven't seen this. I hear that he uses rock monsters to build the ark. I don't know. It doesn't say that in the Bible, but then again, the Bible's not very specific about how Noah built the ark, so maybe it happened. I don't know. I wasn't there, but excited to watch it nonetheless. And then I got this on the same day as well. 42, the Jackie Robinson story, starring Black Panther himself and Han Solo. I think I watched this freshman year in high school in class, like a history class. So it's always had that it's a school movie like sheen over top of it. So I've never really thought about picking it up, but for $5, yeah, I'll buy it all day. And I remembered it being good. So all right, now these last two titles I just picked up today. It's Blu-ray Tuesday, so of course I had to get Shazam because this is the first like legitimately good DC film in years since Wonder Woman. Um, Even though I like Justice League, but Justice League's bad. It's not a good movie. It's a guilty pleasure for me. But Wonder Woman was actually a legitimately good film, and Shazam, I think's better than Wonder Woman. I really like Shazam. I haven't even opened it yet. I got home like not too long before the stream started, so I haven't even opened it yet. But I'm excited to rewatch it. And this other thing was on sale. This is Batman the Animated Series complete collection, not in that huge oversized box with like the collectible stuff and the 3 pop keychains that made the price just inflate. This is just the series on Blu-ray, and I've heard good things about this series, so I'm excited to watch it. I'm gonna wait until I finish Spectacular Spider-Man before I watch this. So, but I will watch this at some point. It's also still in the cellophane because I just picked these up today. There's also another thing I wanted to show you all that I picked up off of eBay. This is just a random obscure thing. It's video game related. It's this thing right here. This, I don't know what this is a Game Boy Advance video cartridge. Now, Game Boy Advance Video was a proprietary video cartridge that you could buy for your Game Boy Advance. Basically, they would load up shows on the card that you could watch on your Game Boy Advance. In this case, it's the Fairly Odd Parents, if this thing would ever load. Come on, focus. It's right there, focus. I wish this thing had a manual focus feature. Or like an auto focus. I don't know. I wish I could control the focus. And I just dropped it. But these were sold for pretty much the entire Game Boy Advance's time on the shelves. And all it basically is a way to watch shows on your Game Boy Advance. They were created, I assume, as a response to the Hasbro Video Now player, which used discs instead of these things, cartridges. The discs were like, think it's larger than a GameCube game, but not as big as a DVD. But Nintendo went with just cartridges, and it works. Not well, but it works. Grab my DS Lite here. It does work. It is backwards compatible with the Nintendo DS Lite. So if we put this in the Game Boy slot here, see if it'll boot up. Hang on, it's got a... I'm not sure if it's the cartridge or the system, but sometimes it doesn't recognize when there's a Game Boy cartridge inserted in it. That's not an option pack. Start GBA game. Not compatible with the Game Boy player. Fairly Odd Parents, all that stuff. Majesco, Digital Video, Nickelodeon. It plays the theme song. Go to the menu here. That's what it looks like. The episodes that are included are that I can't say that foul bald, the boy who would be queen. That was a weird episode. And Information Stupor Highway. So these included about an hour's worth, maybe 45 minutes of content, because Information Stupor Highway took up. It's playing a little bit here. Instead of I just lost my train of thought. Information Stupor Highway is a double length episode, and Foul Bald and The Boy Who Would Be Queen are both 11 minutes long. So these are not in the best quality at all. These are presented in about 160p, so less than 240p. So these are not good. Here's like a little snippet of what it looks like. It looks better on the camera than it does in real life. Yeah, on the camera it doesn't look as bad, but when you're looking at it not through the eyes of a camera, you're looking at it through just your own eyes. I mean, this quality is awful. I mean, it's terrible. I watched one of these episodes yesterday, and I thought to myself, why am I doing this? So that's that. I had watched a few videos on the Game Boy Advance video cartridge line, and some people who had complete collections of these things. There were over 40 of them. Not Fairly Odd Parents, but just video cartridges in general were released. And people have complete collections of these things, and I was just like, wow. It was crazy that, those things actually came out. They had stuff like SpongeBob, Disney Channel shows, and a couple of movies, actually. Shrek 2 and Shark Tale, I think, were put on these cards, and they're not great quality. No way am I going for a complete collection of these things. I just wanted one just to see how it worked and how it looked, and this was the cheapest one I could find on eBay. So, cool. Glad to have it, I guess. I will probably never use it again. It will sit on my desk and collect dust like everything else. Oh gosh. Oh, should I get tired? So, now we're back. Things I have that you don't is now over. Oh, I should also show you I got this this Game of Thrones pack of cards from Best Buy when I got Injustice 2 in St. Louis. It's cool. I didn't have a deck of cards, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll need one of those for when I eventually gamble away all of my money and die alone. Bottoms up. You guys ever had Liberty Brew? It's pretty tasty. I enjoy it. Gavin, it is okay if you are late to the stream. It is okay. You just missed me pouring out my heart and soul and saying how much I love you. I'm so hurt. No, I'm kidding. I always wanted to go to St. Louis, Missouri. You really should. I'm just gonna call you Cameron because it says Cameron in your username. I'm not reading all that. Yeah, you should. It's a fun city. I always enjoy whenever we go there. Are you going to do a HMR for Toy Story when the fourth one comes out on Blu-ray or 4K? I cannot answer that at this point, Cable Tunes, because I don't even know myself. But the way that the new HMR is set up in terms of seasons, I can't exactly just do anything whenever I want to. Speaking of HMR, did you guys hear that Big World Big Adventures is getting a DVD release in the US? That means I have to cover it on Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. More or less watch the damn thing. Here's the thing that I don't understand, okay? This is coming out on September 10th, 2019. Other than the fact that it's a day before 9/11, which probably means that Big World Big Adventures is a next national tragedy. I don't understand why Mattel waited so long. Because you think about it, Big World Big Adventures came out, what, last year in March, I think? No, maybe even later than that. April is when it aired on television, and it only aired like once in the US. And then I lost my train of thought again. I gotta quit looking at the chat when I start going off on tangents, because if I look at the chat, everything is just I don't know what that was. Now my eyes are itching. I'm a mess. Anyway, it's been close to 2 years since our last Thomas and Friends DVD release, because people are saying Journey Beyond Soda was your last Thomas and Friends DVD release. It wasn't. Okay, we got 2 Christmas releases before then. Thomas's Holiday Collection was actually the last one in the U.S., and that was released. I actually don't remember when that was released. I think it was released a little before. It was probably released in November, actually. So it's a little bit before 2 years since our last physical media release in the U.S. for new content. And I just don't understand what took Mattel so long here. It can't be because they forgot how to print DVDs. November of 2017. So I was right. Okay, November of 2017 was the last one. So I don't understand what took them so long. I would have gladly covered Big World Big Adventures last year on the show on Home Media Reviews. Would have gladly done it. Sadly, we got nothing. Just don't do a BWBA HMR. You'd think it'd be that simple, King Henry, but I am a completionist. And one of the things I'm a completionist on is Thomas and Friends US Home Media releases. I mean, if you look in my closet right now, there's 2 halves of 2 shelves that are completely filled up with this stuff. And it's not even every single release. It's not every single little variant. It's just one of everything. I just have to have one of everything. And in order for me to do that, I have to get Big World Big Adventures. Do I want to? No. Do I want to watch it? No. Do I want to cover it? Kind of, honestly. I would like, I'm going to say this right now, I would kind of like to cover it on the show. Just to see what my reaction to it would be. And if I don't cover it on the show, then the show is incomplete. Because we're missing a release. And I could not live with that. I could not die happy if I wasn't complete with Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. That would just be a sin against all mankind. If I died at 30, which I perfectly, I'll say that again. If I died at 30, which I plan on doing, not really, but if I died at, but if I died at 30 or at an undisclosed age later on in life, and I knew that I didn't review Big World Big Adventures on HMR, I would, I don't know what I would do. I would get up to heaven. There'd be St. Paul sitting there at the gates, and I would be like, "Forgive me, Paul, but I did not cover HMR, or I didn't cover Big World Big Adventures on HMR." And Paul would say, "Sorry, my son, you're going to hell," and I would just blurt down, right down. It would just be very unfortunate. Until Thomas and Friends HMR is officially canceled, then no. St. Paul's not at the gates, it's St. Peter. Well, this time it's St. Paul. St. Peter had the day off. He had to go down to the bar. He was getting a little bit iffy. You think they were bars in heaven? Probably. Jesus drank wine. Uh, 70 years in the future, they release a Thomas and Friends DVD, and 90-year-old Lego lover has to do an HMR on it. That would be funny. I think HMR will be canceled by then, but that would be funny. I'll end up looking like Principal Pal from Ned's Declassified. Hello boys. It's time for home media reviews. Today we're going to be covering 90 years of Thomas and Friends. Hello boys. Crubs, are you bothering these boys? No, Principal Pal. And one of them is a girl. Well, of course she is. And she's so pretty. Bye, boys. I'll be in my office. You guys ever watch that show, Ned's Declassified? It's hilarious. I own a few episodes of that on iTunes. I rewatched those a few days ago. It's so good. It's so good. I'll miss it. I miss it a lot. But yeah, I just don't understand why it took Mattel so long to actually figure out that, oh crap, we didn't put out a Big World Big Adventures DVD in the US. People tweeted at them, people asked them about it, they were like, we got no plans, sorry. It didn't how they're handling this brand. It makes me upset. It makes me very upset. Ned's Declassified was a live action cartoon. It was good. It was good, Henry. It was good. We got 3 great seasons. I wish they would have gone through with that spin-off that they were planning to do when they were in high school. That would have been cool. That's the thing. Cable Tunes keeps saying that they want to put that out because bonus content. There is no bonus content on Thomas DVDs. Not anymore. There's nothing on them. There's just some crap game and then nothing. It doesn't make any sense for me. Not even from a financial standpoint, because if you think about it, I think the whole reason they stopped putting out physical media in the US was because it wasn't selling well. So why would you go out and lose more money putting out this DVD that's probably not going to sell well? What happened to Thomas and Friends being on its own streaming service? Does anyone remember that? Supposedly, the reason that it was pulled off of Netflix and stuff is because it was going to have its own streaming service. Like, Mattel was going to launch their own streaming service, I think. I think that's what the rumor was. Or someone was going to launch a streaming service that had their shows on it. Whatever happened to that? Did that just vanish like a fart in the wind? Like, that honestly wouldn't surprise me because Mattel stocks are in the toilet right now. I'd be surprised if they lasted till the end of the year. Man, I hate to ask you, Lego Lover 117, what's your favorite Marvel movie? Why do you hate to ask me that? Um, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones. Yeah, I'm just looking uh at my collection over here, and I'm just like, I can't pick a favorite Marvel movie. They're too many good ones. It's that Mattel only cares about cars. Mattel doesn't even own cars. Disney owns cars, and they pay them for merchandising rights. So they don't even make that much money off of it. That time of year, getting to watch Magic Railroad, what LL thinks it's awful, and what I think it's amazing and enjoy watching every time. I don't necessarily think Magic Railroad is awful. I think it's a poorly conceived child born out of wedlock. But it was kind of fun to rewatch it last year when I was in last Christmas when I was in an emotional crisis. That kind of helped. But honestly, it was poorly written, poorly conceived, poorly cut. Virtually everything about Magic Railroad doesn't work. Just not even on like on a practical level. Remember on the Percy Gets It Right DVD, there was a maze game where you're Percy and you have to get to Thomas in the dirt bank. I did not play that, Henry, but that sounds fun. The old DVDs actually had some good games on them. They were simple, but they worked better than nothing. My favorite is the Avengers. Yeah, you're not Cable Tunes. You're Gavin Shade. Never. Sorry. Yeah, I would have said that probably a few years ago, but now we've got Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War. Winter Soldier. I watched that on my birthday because America. Which, by the way, in case any of you didn't know, my birthday is actually on July 4th, so I did turn 20. And it's different. Well, it's not that much different. I got this pain in my knee, though. Does that mean I'm getting older? My favorite movie of all time is Toy Story 1995. That's a good pick, Cable Tunes. And Gavin says his favorite movie is Toy Story 2. Well, you're both wrong. Toy Story 3 is the best, so don't at me. No, you can like what you like, but Toy Story 3 is the best. Did it rain or storm after you got that pain in the knee? I feel like that's a reference to something, but I don't know what it is. Now comes the part of the stream where LL ignores the chat for a while and checks his Snappy chat. And nothing new. Oh, I totally forgot I heard something. Whoops. Ugh. Do you have Discord server? Says Stephen White. I do, but it's private. Sorry. Toy Story 4 is the best. Gum Robber, I would agree with you on that, but it doesn't have the emotional impact of the ending of Toy Story 3. Sorry. No, it's not a reference. It's just most old people, when they get pain in their joints, they always say it's connected to when there are storms. I've never heard that before, King Henry, but it's not storming now, and my knee hurts like a motherfucker. I have a specific memory from watching Toy Story when I was younger. Toy Story 3 is good when Buzz speaks Spanish. I think it was good when they almost died in the incinerator. Because in the theater, I'm like, Toy Story 3 came out in 2011, right? So I was going to turn 12. So I'm sitting there as an 11-year-old, just like, they're gonna kill these guys right in front of me. Is this what the real world is like? Okay, I just got like 3 clarifications saying 2010. So no, I was 11. I don't know why I thought 2011. Cars 2 came out in 2011. I'm stupid. Oh, 2010. Okay, I get it. Stop telling me 2010. So yeah, I was either 10 or 11. So I'm sitting there as like a little kid, like, these they're gonna kill these guys. Is this what the real world is like? And that was a better lesson about what the real world is than any Democrat will give you. Gotta get the gotta get that dig at the Democrats in. It wouldn't be a Lego Lover 117 stream if I didn't. I didn't like Cars 2. Okay, Gavin, you're wrong, but yeah, Cars 2 is the worst of the Cars trilogy, but I still love that thing. I've never heard a solid argument though for why it's bad. People have just said, "Well, it's bad because it's a spy film." But hang on a minute. The common complaint with sequels is it's too similar to the first. You're saying you didn't want it to be different? I have all possible ways to watch Toy Story and The Lion King. 4K, 3D, Blu-ray, DVD, VHS. That's a lot of copies of those films, Gum Robert. Jeez. You you're crazier than I am. Speaking of 3D Blu-ray, apparently Shazam got a 3D Blu-ray release here in the US, which is unheard of nowadays, but it's a Best Buy exclusive. I don't know. Home 3D just it never looked good to me. I'm glad it's dead in the US and now 4K is the standard. But I just I didn't like Home 3D. I've never liked Home 3D. It never made sense to me. When do you think Toy Story 4 will be coming out on VHS? Well, gee, Henry, I'm not too sure about that one. Probably 2029, I would think, is when they would get around to that. When do you think? No, I already read that. Cars 2 is bad because of Mater saves almost everyone. I. It says saves almost everyone. I'm guessing he means saves. How does that make it bad? I don't get that. That's not an argument. I just can't wait till Toy Story comes out on Betamax for Laserdisc. Betamax, King Henry. That's the format to beat, baby. Dad just got a new 4K TV downstairs, but we're getting a Betamax. What do you hate about Toy Story 4? I don't really hate anything about Toy Story 4, Gavin. I just don't think it has as emotionally satisfying of an ending as 3. 3 wrapped up the trilogy perfectly. Toy Story 4 is a great epilogue, but I still don't think it was needed very much. Don't get me wrong, Forky's hilarious and trash, but I don't know. So speaking of films that are out in theaters, I want to go ahead and talk about Spider-Man: Far From Home here. So just like with Avengers: Endgame, whenever we had um, that discussion, whenever you see this tag pop up on screen right here, this tag, Spider-Man: Far From Home spoilers are being talked about here, then mute your monitor or mute your computer or whatever. And wait until that tag goes away to come back and watch the stream again. I won't be talking long about spoilers. There's not really a lot of spoilers that are in Far From Home. Nothing that's as earth shattering as Endgame spoilers were. But to be considerate to those of you who have not seen Spider-Man: Far From Home yet, it's only been out for 2 weeks, so some of you might not have seen it yet, and I'm considerate and don't want you to be spoiled on it. So, since the tag is not here, not talking spoilers, I'll just go ahead and tell you that I really liked it. I really enjoyed Far From Home. Let me read you my review that I posted on my Instagram and my Facebook, because I do that now. Okay, so let me find it here. Here it is. Let us begin. After the massive box office smash that was Avengers Endgame, we've come to the end of the Marvel year with Spider-Man: Far From Home. I was mildly excited for this one, since the impact of Endgame was still fresh in my mind. The trailers looked good, but the posters looked like they had been made by a blind man who had just learned the basics of Photoshop. Seriously, who authorized these to be released? And this is the poster that I used. I mean, that just looks that just looks basic. It's bad. It's ugh. Blind man who just learned how to use Photoshop. The the movie, however, is not terrible. It's quite good. Tom Holland as Peter Parker is once again amazing. The man knows how to convey and capture a 16-year-old's whimsy and wonder at the magnitude of the villains he has to face in this film. He's the best Spider-Man, hands down. Don't even try me with Toby Frogface Maguire. You ain't changing my mind. His castmates in the form of Ned Leeds and MJ are also great. Ned wasn't as funny as he was in Homecoming, but he still had me rolling now and again. MJ, though, wow. Zendaya comes into her own here. Her relationship with Peter as it progresses throughout the film is so good and reflective of how real high school relationships go. Peter reminded me a lot of myself when I was 16 trying to woo that cute girl I had a crush on. Difference is, he actually had the balls to go through with his plan while I sat back and reminisced about what never came to fruition. But enough about me and my love life in high school being the equivalent of getting kicked in the head by a horse and falling into a wood chipper. Nick Fury's also in this, and he's funnier than he normally is. I suspect that's to reflect the tone of the film, as it's not too serious, and a lot of things are treated as jokes, which is formulaic for Marvel at this point. Mysterio, as portrayed by Jake Gyllenhaal, is probably the best thing about this movie. His performance is energetic, captivating, and really fun. His costume, aside from it being incredibly comic accurate down to the giant fishbowl head, was great to see in action. I loved everything about Mysterio, to his friendship with Spider-Man and his action with the Elementals. The Elementals, they're basically cannon fodder for some really awesome action scenes. The CGI is really good and the action was fluid and easy to see. There's a huge twist involving the villain. In order to stay away from spoilers, I won't talk about it here. you don't really know who the villain is, what's wrong with you? You've never read a Spider-Man comic. I mean, I haven't, but we're not talking about me here, are we? The villain's really good once it's revealed who it really is, and the motivation behind him is great. I don't have a lot of negatives. Maybe the fact that the pacing gets thrown around a little bit in the middle, and there's possibly too many jokes. Overall, I enjoyed Spider-Man: Far From Home. Is this the best Spider-Man film? No, I think Homecoming is more well-rounded and has a better story, but this one's a solid follow-up. Mysterio is, again, the best thing about this film, and you should see it pretty much because he's in it. Pretty high recommend for this. It is a solid end to the Marvel year. So yeah, I really liked Homecoming, and I refrained from spoiling who the villain was in that review, mainly because a lot of people haven't read Spider-Man comics, and I mean, neither have I, like I said in the review, but come on, I knew who it was, but in case you hadn't. So those are my non-spoiler thoughts. Now we've got the tag here, so I'm just going to give anybody a couple of seconds to mute their computer monitors or mute their computers or whatever, now that the Far From Home spoiler tag is up. Okay, now we are in spoiler territory. Mysterio's the villain. Duh. I mean, come on, it's so obvious. But again, some people haven't read comics. But man, when he was revealed as the villain in that scene in the bar, like, geez, that was really good. And Jake Gyllenhaal can turn his performance on a dime. That guy's a great actor. But really, that's really the only major spoiler I could talk about, except for the end credit scenes. One of them is the fact that Nick Fury is not Nick Fury. He's Talos from Captain Marvel, which was something I did not expect. He's a Skrull, meaning he can shapeshift. And Maria Hill is also not Maria Hill. She's Talos' wife. I can't remember what her name is. Talos' wife. That's just what I'm going to call her. Hello, I'm Talos. This is my wife, Talos' wife. But yeah, finding out that they were Skrulls was interesting, but it begs the question, how long has Nick Fury been a Skrull? And does Maria Hill even exist? Has it always been Talos' wife, or has she like been Maria Hill in the first Avenger and then was just switched out? Or it begs a lot of questions. The Russo brothers have confirmed though that that was Nick Fury at the funeral in Avengers 4. So it wasn't Talos, but who's to say Nick Fury wasn't Talos before that? I don't know. It begs a lot of questions. That's the second end credit scene, though. That's the one that's towards the end. The one that's in the middle really changes the universe as a whole, because Spider-Man's secret identity is revealed by Mysterio, who, spoiler alert, died, but shot some extra footage and stuff. It turns out that Mysterio is not actually a magic person. He's just really good at video effects and such, and uses drones and holograms to make it look like he's actually fighting people, which is a genius idea, by the way. Bring back the technology from Captain America Civil War that helped Tony Stark get through his PTSD with his parents dying and such. That was a really good callback. They brought back Peter Billingsley from Iron Man 1, who was the technician that got yelled at by Obadiah Stane, who's also the little kid in A Christmas Story. In case you guys didn't know about that, that's him. That's Ralphie. I liked I liked the first end credit scene. I thought it was a little bit odd that his identity is revealed in an end credit scene, and now we have to wait 2-3 years before we realize what goes on with that. The big surprise though was seeing J.K. Simmons as like an Alex Jones Infowars type of reporter, and just seeing him back as J. Jonah Jameson was so great. I love J.K. Simmons as that character. Yeah, Pablo, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. That's the guy. That's the technician I'm talking about. So that's really it for spoilers. I mean, Mysterio dies. I don't think he's actually dead. Honestly, I'm 50-50 on it, but I'm leaning more towards he's not dead because of just how much extra footage he shot and had Ralphie edit for him and put out on that InfoWars website. So I don't think he's actually dead. He could come back. He is an illusionist technically. Uh, that was a little bit disappointing finding out that he's actually not magic. He doesn't use magic to create illusions. He uses technology, which I guess makes sense in this more grounded scientific world that the MCU exists in. But we've had Doctor Strange. We've had magic in the MCU before. But I guess it just makes more sense if it's computer oriented. It would make more sense in that aspect. So, spoiler discussion a little bit shorter than Avengers was, but now I'm going to take that tag away. Okay, so that ends our spoiler talk for Spider-Man Far From Home. For those of you who just came back and are joining us now, welcome back to the stream. Switch back to this screen, as of course we usually do here. So, and I wanted to talk briefly about why I do like the spoiler tag thing and just make sure that like people who haven't seen films aren't spoiled on them. About a year ago now, or it's been over a year now, when Ant-Man and the Wasp first entered theaters. It was the week before I was going on a beach vacation. It was the first week in July, and I was going to see it on a Thursday, I think it was, because me and my brother got preview night tickets. We don't get a lot of preview screenings around here in Louisville, so that was a huge thing for us. Um, so we were going. I think I streamed on a Tuesday. Maybe it was a Monday. I don't really remember. No, I'm pretty sure I streamed on a Tuesday because my birthday was on a Wednesday last year. So yeah, it was probably a Tuesday. And I was streaming and I was talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was excited to see it, and some asshat came onto the stream and spoiled one of the end credit scenes. Completely laid out exactly what happened, right there in the chat. And I had to ban him after that. That's ridiculous. You don't spoil stuff for people who haven't seen movies yet. I don't care if you figured it out yourself. Keep your trap shut. So that's why I do those tags now and stuff. That's why I did it for Avengers 4 and now for Far From Home, because I don't want people to get spoiled on stuff that they haven't seen, because that's a dick move to do that to people. So that's why I do that now. So it just started raining in the background. I can hear it. I don't think it picks up on the mic. This mic's kind of quiet. Oh, so I guess now the only order of business to do is to do the slideshow for St. Louis, and once we finish that up, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream because my voice is getting tired because I yelled a lot today while I was working because of some things. So go ahead and move into the St. Louis show here. Okay, there we go. It didn't fade. It looked weird. So these are just pictures that I've taken throughout the week in St. Louis. Each one of these locations you see featured here will be in the vlog. I have not started editing the vlog yet. I'm waiting on my new laptop to get here before I actually... Shut up, Ryan. I'm trying to live stream. I'm waiting on my new laptop to get here before I start editing that vlog. And I bought a new laptop. I bought a Asus Vivio book. It's fairly recent. It has like I think it has 8 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte hard drive. It's a pretty awesome computer. I got it for Prime Day on a deal, so that was cool. $420, not a bad price. So I'm waiting for my new laptop to get here before I start editing that vlog. It should be out in the next few weeks, though. So here's our first image. This is of the Anheuser-Busch brew house. This is where beer is made. This was on the first day when we got there Monday. I had more pictures, but this one was the best one I took of the brew house with the clock tower and all that. This image is from Grant's Farm, which was on Tuesday. Grant's Farm is like a zoo, but it's smaller, and they had bald eagles. So, and I love eagles because I love America. This is the Arch. So of course, you famous people who live in St. Louis, Gum Robert, know what it is. And here's the image in one of the images I took on the top of the arch. I think that looks really good. So that was all on Tuesday. Wednesday was the day I met up with Henry, and we went to the City Museum. And at the City Museum, they had this. It's an OG Donkey Kong arcade cabinet, and I played it. I'm not good at Donkey Kong. I died. I barely even got to the third ladder thing. This was at the Transportation Museum. Got this nice, it's not a Thunderbird. I'm not sure what kind of car it is, but it's a nice classic type looking car. You can see up here, now showing American Graffiti, one of George Lucas's first films. This is the U.S. Pacific Big Boy, I think is what or Union Pacific, not U.S. Pacific, Union Pacific large boy, as I like to call him, because it was friggin' huge. It was a serious machine. Here's our thumbnail image with Henbone. Now I have to pay him another $2.6 billion because of using him in this image. He's not cheap. He really likes when I pay him a lot of money to use his likeness. These are two images of me in the cab of the U.S. large boy. Like I'm driving it. It was fun. There's one of them where I'm dabbing, but I put that on my community tab. We went to a mall after we left the Transportation Museum and went to a Lego store, and of course I had to do the heart because I love Legos. But I couldn't just stop there. Right? I had to give one a hug. So here's the hug. You were in that picture, Henry. Good job. And then I had to take another picture with a stormtrooper, a Lego stormtrooper, because he's cool. And this was at the St. Louis Zoo. It's me with an elephant. Hey, I'm wearing the same shirt. I just realized that. And my Avengers hat. And then this is the final image that I have to show you. This was on Thursday. I just thought it was funny. The Somali wild ass. I don't know why I thought that was as funny as it was, but it's funny because I'm 12. And then here's a collage of photos of me and Henbone, various photos. I don't want you to go back to that. I'm trying to remove that. There you go. Remove St. Louis. Oh no, black screen! Ah! There we go, I fixed it. Yeah, these two were images that I took. Both of them were found on my Twitter, including this one. Except I didn't have as creepy of a smile in the one I put on my Twitter, but that hat promotes slavery, according to Nike. And this one Henry took. So, you probably can't see my mouse. rolling over this, so it probably doesn't make much sense about what I'm talking about. But meeting up with Henry, that was great. That was honestly great. I know you're watching this, bro. It was really fun to be able to just hang out with you, just talk about whatever, make jokes that actually make sense to you. Um, you have to pay me 2.6 million for each time I'm in this collage. God damn it, I forgot. Dave's not going to be happy when he finds out about that. But seriously, bro, it was great to get to hang out with you at the City Museum, Transportation Museum, and a little bit at the house that I was in. You got to see the arcade machine and watch me play Pac-Man for a while. It was great to meet up with you, hang out with you, again, make jokes that actually make sense to you instead of being with my real life group of friends and make like ha 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 funny inside joke meme, and they are like, "What are you talking about, bro?" But you actually understood what I was saying with a lot of our inside jokes. So it was cool. We had a fun time, and my parents liked you as well. So let's see, that's one 2.6 million, two 2.6 million. I think you should get paid half of that because it's only the back of your head, and then another 2.6 million. So I'm just gonna call Dave right now and let him know that we are bankrupt. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Yeah, it's your boss. Yeah, I know. I know you changed your phone number, but I figured it out. Don't use that tone of voice with me. Okay, listen. The reason I'm calling is because well, you see, Henry's not cheap. He wants 2.6 million for every single time he appears in this collage. Are you watching the stream right now? You are? Okay, that's good. He wants 2.6 million for every single time he appears in this collage. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, well, you're not my financial advisor, okay? You're my fake producer. I will call you fake producer for as long as I can because you won't greenlight a season 2 of HMR. No, I have to get approval from you because you're the producer. Yes, I understand I'm CEO. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, why don't your lawyers talk to Henry's lawyers and we'll see about reaching a settlement, okay? Because we can't afford 2.6 million for every single time he appears in this collage. I know that. I know 2.6 million is more than we make in a month. I understand this, Dave. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I did not see the game last night. I don't watch sports. Oh, I see. So your son watches sports, so you think I should. Well, tell your son he's dumb. How is he, by the way? He's good. Okay. Does he still play soccer? Or oh, he got kicked off the team. Okay. Doing crack. Wow, he's 5, right? He's doing crack this early, man. You're just a bad father. Okay. Bye, Dave. Love you. Okay, so Henry, I know you're watching the stream. Dave's lawyers or my lawyers are going to contact your lawyers, and we're going to see if we can reach a settlement because we can't afford 2.6 million for each time you appear in this collage. We are not that rich, my friend. I will tell Dave that you said hi. Yes, I will. So, how long have we been streaming for? About 90 minutes. Pretty close to 90. That's honestly okay. I wanted to. It's a black screen because I want to put some more images on the screen here. This is something I wasn't able to actually set up before the stream launched, so hang on. There's one final thing I want to talk about before we hit the road running. It's this right here. Let me just size up the image. Boop. And of course, we need my face in there. There I am. Hi. We'll put the video right in the middle. There we go. That looks fine. So, you're probably asking, what the hell is this? Where is this at? Is this some other like form of your house or something? Actually, it is. It's the hallway that is directly connected right over there. My door, how you get into the place, it's right there. There's a hallway that's out there that connects the entire upstairs. That includes my room, my brother's room, the bonus room that we used to call the playroom, but then 50 Shades of Grey came out and we were like, yeah, that's a little dirty. So now we call it bonus room, and the bathroom, which is directly next to my room. So this bookshelf was originally owned by my brother. It still technically kind of is. But he used to use this bookshelf as a makeshift television stand. He had a 32-inch Samsung TV that he had hung on his wall, and it stood over top of this bookshelf, and his Xbox would sit on it and all that stuff. But when my dad purchased our new 4K TCL television, which is now located downstairs, we had to move the Sanyo television, 50-inch television, somewhere in this house. My brother was the only one who didn't have a television larger than 50 inches, so surprise, surprise, he got the Sanyo. And he got the stand that came with the Sanyo as well, because my mom bought this, gotta be honest, kind of ugly looking stand. It's got like barn doors on it. It's like a wood grain type thing. I don't mind the color. I hate the doors, the barn doors. I hate those. Like, have some glass doors or something, or don't have any doors at all. Just have shelves. Why do we need this barn door crap? I don't care for it much, but I'll get used to it. So my brother got the Sanyo, he got the TV and the stand, so we had to find somewhere to put this bookshelf. He didn't want it, it doesn't fit in his room. So my mom said, yo, let's put the bookshelf. She didn't actually say yo, but she said, yo, let's put the bookshelf out in the hallway, because there's nothing out in that hallway. Or there wasn't anything out there until we put this bookshelf out there. And the bookshelf, you can see it was probably 10 minutes of it being out there. I immediately started putting stuff on it. I was like, okay, yeah, I will put this bookshelf to good freaking use. Just move the video over here for a second. You can see we've got my 2 rows of Funko Pops, 7 each, making for a grand total of 14. On the bottom, you've got my Avengers Endgame ones. I'm waiting to get the FYE exclusive Thor that's holding Mjolnir and Stormbreaker and has his beard tied off and all that and has the armor and stuff to put in place of War Machine, because I want the 6 OG Avengers on there next to Thanos. I've got them, and on top of that, I've got a Game of Thrones line with Arya Stark, Olenna Tyrell, Cersei, Jaime, Bronn, Jon, and Ned. And then even on top of that, I've got stuff. I've got my 2 Game of Thrones action figures. Got a better picture of those here. Yeah, Donald 9, there are Diary of a Wimpy Kid books there. Those are my brother's. Mine are back here on my bookshelf. Nope, that's the same picture. There we go, that's better. Sorry, this would have been more professional if I set this up before the stream, but we all know I'm not professional. And the camera's back, yay! So those are my 2 Game of Thrones action figures, Jon Snow and Arya Stark. Those are the only ones I wanted. The Night King, he looked good. I really liked how his figure looked, but his character did nothing in the entire show. He was built up to be nothing. And the Daenerys Targaryen figure, that thing just looks creepy. It it doesn't look like her, like the actress. It doesn't look like her at all. It looks like a child conceived with a computer screen of a photo of Emilia Clarke. So yeah, it's I did not purchase that figure because it just doesn't look good. And here we've got, next to the Game of Thrones action figures, we've got these. They're not snow globes. I do have quite a few snow globes. Let me just blow up the camera here for a second. I got this snow globe at the St. Louis Zoo, and it has stingrays in it because there was a stingray exhibit that we didn't get to see because we had to leave before the zoo closed. So we got there at like 12, didn't see animals till 1, and we didn't get to see the stingrays, and I was very disappointed by that. So I bought this snow globe. It was the last one with stingrays in it, and it will always remind me of what I never got to see. Very bitter about that. Here's another snow globe I got when we went in 2011, 2012, I think it was. It has a puffin in it. It's cool. And then here's another one I got from Grant's Farm this year. It has Clydesdales in it. And a big Grant's Farm medallion on it. It's cool. I like it. Trying to make it to where it... There you go. See the snow in it. The snow's on the Clydesdales. Look at that. Look at that there. Isn't that cool? And they sit where Jaime, Cersei, and Bronn were on my desk, if you remember where they were. But to move the video out of the way here. Very small. These, I'm not sure what you would call those. Water cubes? They're not snow globes, not technically. But they've come from each of my beach vacations. One of them's from Outer Banks, the one with the lighthouse. And then the two that have palm trees in them are from Panama City. Both times I went to Panama City for a beach camp. And as you can see on the cubes, you've got Ramsay Bolton and Jon Snow, Battle of the Bastards 2-pack. That used to be up on my desk. Now it's in. Now it's out on the shelf, and it looks really good. And I really like it. So this final picture that I'm going to attempt to load in here is probably my favorite setup on this shelf. If you didn't see, I got the Anakin Skywalker throwback or archive series, Black Series action figure from Hasbro. Ordered it from Entertainment Earth whenever it first went up on pre-order, because I didn't get a chance to get the OG Anakin Skywalker figure, and the OG Anakin Skywalker figure brand new in the package was like dummy expensive, so I opted for just the archive version because it's the same figure. I can blow up the video a little bit here. There we go. I want to be on top. There we go. So I put them, my Anakin and my Darth Vader, in kind of this pose where their backs are to each other, but their lightsabers are mimicking each other, sort of like a duality of man type pose. I really like it. It came out really well. I've had the Darth Vader for a long time now, but I never had an Anakin to complement it. I have a General Grievous too, but now I need an Obi-Wan Kenobi so I can do a hello there. General Kenobi, you are a bold one. That sounded nothing like General Grievous, but yeah. That's the bookshelf. Really like it. I am eventually probably going to add Blu-rays to it because I just have so many of these gosh darn things. Maybe even add games to it. I don't know what I'm going to do. if you saw, there were, just close these out here. There were Nintendo DS games on the shelf next to the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. Those are all, they all have manuals and all have cards in them. They're all complete in box. I'm trying to completely box all of my Nintendo DS cards here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that still don't have boxes. And there's a couple in my case that don't. I think there's 2 in my case. So 10 games that don't have boxes yet. My parents didn't like my boxes. They threw all my boxes away when I was a kid. They let me keep the cards, but they threw the boxes out. And that, of course, devalues the DS cards. So it's actually harder to find complete boxes than to find the cards. The cards are easy to find. People are selling cards all over the dang place. It's harder to find a box with the manual for them. So, but there's also 3 3DS games sitting over there. 2 of them are Lego titles, and one of them is New Super Mario Brothers 2. My brother had a Nintendo 3DS when he was a bit younger. He sold it to buy his Xbox One whenever that first came out. He sold that. He sold his DSi, his DS Lite, my DS Lite. Actually, that's not my DS Lite from when I was a kid. I had to buy a new one off of eBay because I wanted it back for my complete game collection video, which is still coming at some point. But he sold many of his 3DS games, some of his regular DS games, like Mario Kart, that I made a big deal about on Twitter, having to rebuy that game again. How do you sell Mario Kart? What the hell's wrong with you? You don't sell Mario Kart. But he even had Mario Kart 7 and sold that. What the hell's wrong with you, bro? But anyway, he sold most of his games, but for some reason he kept the boxes to few of them. Like he sold Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land, but he sold them with the boxes. He also sold Lego City The Chase Begins, or Lego City Undercover The Chase Begins, Lego Batman 2, and New Super Mario Bros. 2, but he kept the boxes to them. So they're sitting out there empty. So I'm like, you can't have empty game boxes. What the hell's wrong with you? So I rebought New Super Mario Bros. 2. The card is in there. That's complete. But I don't have cards for Lego Batman 2 or Lego City Undercover yet. I will, though. The cards are cheap. You can find a card perfectly fine. The problem is if it works or not. And I've been kind of looking into getting a 3DS, honestly. I want to play Super Smash Brothers for 3DS, and there's a couple of titles in there I would like to play at some point. So I kind of want a 3DS. I don't know. My brother actually has a what's it called? A 2DS, not the XL, the one that looks like a piece of bread. And I can't hold that thing, dude. I gotta have a flippy screen. Gotta have a flippy screen. Sorry. To be honest, if he sold Mario Kart on DS, I can't blame him. Why, Pablo? Mario Kart DS is one of the best Mario Karts out there. Did you know there's going to be a Thomas & Friends movie made by DreamWorks? There's not. That's not a thing. I don't know where you heard that, but it's false. DreamWorks doesn't own Thomas. Sorry. So we've been going for almost 2 hours now. My voice hurts. My throat hurts. I just want to go lay down in my bed in the fetal position, open these bad boys up, and watch The Office. So, thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. It doesn't seem like I enjoy it, but I do. These are very therapeutic for me. I enjoy them immensely. I enjoy talking to you all, catching up with you all. I hope you liked the latest HMR that just aired yesterday. on Collateral. And there've been some people commenting on that saying, "Oh, you shouldn't cover this, or you should cover this in the next episode." Guys, I tell you what the next episode is at the end of Collateral. It's Unwanted from 2008. That's the season finale next week. Thursday's video is going to be part 2 of the uh, stop reading chat. Thursday's video is going to be part 2 of the Lego Star Wars Let's Play series. You guys voted on that on Twitter, so Lego Star Wars is what we're going to be doing. Part 3 will come out in the next couple of weeks. But part 2, I edited that in St. Louis because there was one night where I just got really bored and didn't want to watch anything. I was like, I'm going to do some work. And I had a desk in my room in the St. Louis house, which you'll see in the house tour in that vlog whenever that comes out. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop dragging this out for too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. Gum Robber, happy birthday. Your birthday's on the 19th. You say it in the chat, and you hold a freaking gun to my head saying, wish me happy birthday. So happy birthday, bro. Thanks for coming out. Thanks all of you for watching. And as always, good night, everybody.